I spent my summer as a poach boy at the Homestead Hotel in Hot Springs, Virginia, waiting on the rich people like the Rockefellers, the Fords, the Cudahy's, the Anheuser-Busch, and the Marshall Fields. I waited on all of them, even the ones that grew up to be vice president and whatnot. I remember all of them very well.
Tell people who don't know what a porch boy is.
What?
Tell me what a porch boy is.
The porch boy at the Homestead Hotel had a porch as long as from here to your post office on one wing. From the post office, from here to our post office, and another wing going west, east, north, and south. I had to look out for the rich people on all of those porches in the process of a day, just walking down and back, seeing whether or not they needed water, or whether or not they dropped the papers or the mail or this or that. See, because the hotel could accommodate around about 3,500 to 4,000 people. And they were the rich people, the Rockefellers, the Fords, the Cudahy's, the Anheuser-Busch, people like that. So I got the experience of working with and seeing how the rich man lives.
Did you experience any discrimination?
Rich people didn't show that. They were too big to show that.
Okay.
You are a bellboy.
I see.
They call you by your name, Waddell, or else Bellboy 43, or Bellboy 5, or Bellboy 3. I started work there when I was 13 and didn't get through until I was 27.
Okay.
All the way through 3 universities.
I see. Okay. So
and they put me through.
The families that you met there at the homestead.
People didn't have very much money. There were
Right.
5. It was the Fords, the Rockefellers, the Cudahy's, the Anheuser-Busch, the Marshall Fields, and other big people. And the presidents of the United States, I waited on them there. You see, I couldn't get much so far.
Okay.
But I got near enough to take him his meal and whatnot, and asked Mr. Roosevelt how he's feeling, you know, good morning, sir, how are you? See? I waited on oodles of rich people's money. And you pick up their ideas, and you got to the point you want to live like they did.
Okay.
You see. You want to be like Mr. Rockefeller, Mr. Ford, Mr. Cudahy, Anheuser-Busch, or the big people.
And so this time in your life, you were started at 12 or 13. This was when you at 12 or 13 is when you started here at the homestead in Hot Springs.
Yeah.
You were 12 or 13 years old at this point when you started at the homestead, correct?
13, as porch boy.
Okay.
And I worked there until I was 27 years old, until I got through school, all of the schools.
Okay.
Well, I think basically in the game of life, everybody got dog in them or some vascular things. And I met a lot of that as a boy, you see.
Say more about that. Tell me what you mean.
Well, people are people, and just men run after women and vice versa. Let's put it that way. People are people. Take the rich boys from Washington, D., or Lexington, or New York U, or Harvard, or Yale, or whatnot. They come down there and raise hell. You know. There are many nights they tell us to go up there and put those boys to bed, or help put them to bed. They get up and get drunk. The Homestead Hotel was as long as one wing, as long as from here to the hotel, to the post office, and all one end up down here and one down there. Well, those rich boys would get up there and start raising hell from VPI, Harvard, Yale. They'd raise hell. We'd go up and put them in bed. Not one night, but every night nearly.
Really? Okay. So when they would get rowdy, they would call...
They had their tutors with them, too. But they'd get away from their tutors and raise hell. I say, people are people.
Were there any of the guests at the Homestead Hotel, were any of the guests black, or were they all white?
All white?
The guests that were at the hotel.
All white then. It's not that way now. But then all the rich white boys, hell, you couldn't go to Hot Springs unless you had money. For the common person, it was $250 a day. You see, that's common person, you know. So you can imagine what the rich man had to pay.
And when you were at the working at the hotel, where did you stay or where did you sleep?
Oh, they had room to take care of 1,000 waiters, 250 bellboys, and people. We had 3 golf links that are world golf players like Bill Till and all those people. But the tennis and golf players would have their big events there, and people from all over the world would come.
Okay.
And the hotel would take care, like I said, 3,000 or 4,000 people easy, because it had cottages too. And they had 200 horses they rode every morning.
Okay.
And they had carriages. They had everything a rich man had. Every person of culture who attended White Sulphur Springs or the Green Bar or the Homestead, they were educated, practically cultural people. They call you your number or your name. You never heard the training was, if anybody called you Charlie or George, you keep walking.
Did that ever
happen? You don't listen to them. Keep walking. And finally, it would make you hard as hell if one was discover your real name. One of them discovered my real name, call me William. I started laughing. I turned around, sir, what can I do for you? But the whole time, if it's Buster Boy, you keep walking.
So there was an instance that they would call you by the wrong name?
The rich man was a great man in training, much more than the poor man. So it was among the poor man where you got Boy, George, Joe, and whatnot. But the rich man would call you by your name, William or Waddell, or like that, you know. And it was a type of training. The white man from the South was not malicious in his name, but he was just trained to call you George, Joe, John, or whatnot, you see. And as time went on, though, you could see a change. You take the white boy who went to VPI, VMNI, University of Virginia. He was very much different from the boy that didn't go to school. Because the boy that didn't go to school, even ostracized, he would grow up calling you Mary or John and whatnot, because he didn't know any better. But once they have gone to school and taught, they learn better. And as the younger generation came along, they learned better, you know. So it's been a period of giving and taking, you see, and a period of understanding among people, see. For an example, even your friends that you dealt with, when you met their children, the offspring, they would call you either Bill or whatnot, or Dr. Waddell or Mr. Waddell, as compared to the one who was not trained.
So you saw things changing in a positive way through the years?
Very definitely. Very definitely. Things have changed and still changing. Because, for an example, if I'd go into a home and I have a little bot, B-R-T I call them, instead of a word, come up and start talking and raise the devil and calling you this or that, or you just call them to the side and talk to him, you know, and tell him, your mother didn't teach you this. Who taught it to you? What do you call that man there? Who, Mr. So-and-so? Yeah, well, hell, call me Mr. So-and-so.
Sure.
And just make him do that, you know. And their mother didn't encourage them to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of this goes back also to mom and dad.
Sure. How children are taught at home. Okay.
Mom and dad, they're responsible for all of this stuff, you know.
Right.
And it goes back to them. And sometimes you have to tell them, why don't you teach this boy how to talk to people? I tell them. What do you mean, Doc? They don't know people's names.
Yeah.
The Homestead Hotel might be referred to as the garden spot of the world. Garden spot of the world because the money people controlled the world had money. It was a rich man's paradise. And you never hear me say anything about the rich man because he put me through school. 4 years at Manassas, 4 years at Lincoln, and 4 years at the University of Pennsylvania.
Why do you think they did that? Why do you think they took such an interest in you?
They used to tell me truthfully that I was an unusual Negro. They hadn't learned how to say Negro. Negro. An unusual Negro.
What was unusual about you?
I work hard, save my money, and I never miss a day from the time I went there at the age of 13 through 28 or 27. Never missed a day, and that was late. Never was late. The same thing held good at Manassas. I never missed a class at Manassas in the 5 years I was there, nor was I late.